What's up, everybody? This is Dell. Welcome to Dell on Movies. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you've been here before, thanks for hanging out with me again. And welcome to another episode of Movie Swap. We're getting started late for the second week in a row. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just waiting on my guest to hop on in here. And let me double check some things because I think we might have some miscommunications going on with that. There we go. Yep, we got some people here. So let me double check that, guys. And thanks for hanging on and sticking around. Thanks for all your support. Give me one sec here. Just double checking what I sent to my guys. Sorry, the beginning of this show has just been a hot mess for the last couple weeks. Sorry, guys. While I'm doing this, I do want to say thank you, everybody that showed up to my last stream where I had my 2 year anniversary on YouTube. Really appreciate that. And yep, I think I gave them the wrong thing. All right. While we're doing that, let's see who is hanging out. We got Adrian James is here. He says hello. What's going on, Adrian? Thanks for being here. Did I get kicked out? I think I got kicked out or kicked back into my phone. Hang on, guys. All right, guys. I'm sorry about all that. It's just been a tough time getting started with this show, but yeah. So it's been a bit of a mess getting started. My guys should be in here pretty soon. Let's go back to you guys in the chat. Chris says, "How's it going? What's going on, Chris? Really appreciate you hanging out." Here, Tiana is here. Hey, Tiana. Tiana, great supporter of the channel. Steve Moody, the same. Hi, Steve. Says hi, everyone. And there's Holland saying yo. And of course, we got some people all saying hi to each other. Really appreciate that. Again, like I was saying, I had my 2 year YouTube anniversary. I had that stream last week, and I appreciate everybody who showed up for that, who watched that. Congratulations to the people who picked up the digital copies for that. I hope you enjoyed them. If there wasn't any issues with that, just let me know. I don't know if there was or not. Nobody said anything. I know a couple of people did say that they claimed them. So let me just talk a little bit about tonight's show while we're waiting. It is going to be a three-man movie swap, so for the first time, and we're gonna have three separate movies. And I've done three movies before when I've had one guest on, and they watched more than one movie that I recommended them, and we talked about multiple movies. This one's a little bit different though because this time I recommended a movie that the other two people did not watch, and my other two guys did the same. Of course, it's Dave and Rich from um, Faces for Radio and Turner Fan 77. Rich has his own channel also. So each of us, like I said, recommended a movie that the other two people didn't watch, has never seen at all. So we're all going to be introduced to something new tonight. So and get to experience that. I'm looking forward to see what they thought of the movies that we all watched. So it's going to be a fun time. And one of my guys just popped in. I'm just going to bring him right up here. What's going on, Rich?
Hey, what's going on, Dell? Thank you for having me.
Thank you
Really
for
appreciate
staying
it.
and hanging out, because I'm sure this is
Always,
the
man.
best. I was just kind of telling everybody what we're doing tonight. Little 3-man weave action. If you're a basketball fan, uh,
Mm-mm.
everybody picked the movie that the other two haven't seen. So we're all gonna get into those movies and hopefully have some good discussions about. I know we're gonna have good discussions about it because you guys are great.
Yeah, I'm,
Uh,
I'm excited. I didn't see any of the movie. Of course, like you just said, I didn't see. I never heard of them. To be honest with you, I didn't
okay,
hear about your pick, and I didn't hear about Davis' pick before. So I love watching new movies that I've never heard of.
okay. Dave just popped in. I'm gonna add him, and there he is. What's going on, Dave?
What's going on?
Man, it's been a rough last hour or so.
Oh
I
no, you
I,
okay?
I hope everything's all right.
Yeah, it was nothing bad. It's just doing daddy stuff and took longer than I thought.
Oh, that's okay. Hey, today's my son's birthday, so happy birthday, Miles.
Happy birthday, Miles,
Oh,
turning
happy birthday,
5.
Miles!
I turned
Very
5.
cool.
Yeah.
For people I know, Dave knows, but for people who don't know, can you tell them how Miles got that name?
Oh, it's simple. If you know me, it's from Miles Morales, Across the Spider Verse, Marvel Comics, some of Spider Man. That's my jam. So I had to name my son after Miles Morales.
Absolutely. All right. I was
Yeah.
just going through the chat because we had some people who were kind enough to stick around or just pop in, as this person I think just popped in, Mr. James, 20th and 21st movies. He says, "Hello, Dell and Faces for Radio Gents. Happy Friday Eve." Oh, yes, absolutely. We've already talked about Holland being here. And he says, hey, he was saying, hey to James. Smirk 88 is here. He says, what's up, moviegoers? Jeff has just popped in. John Doe Juggalo says, hey,
What's up,
fellas, good
Jeff?
evening,
What's up,
friends.
man?
I got to meet Jeff in person a few months back, so I'm very happy for
Oh,
that.
nice.
That was
That's
cool.
awesome.
There's a happy birthday for Miles.
Oh, thank you, Holland.
Thank you, Holland.
Appreciate it.
Good job.
Oh yeah, and Cece is here. She's a recent guest that I had on the show. She says, "What is up?"
Hey,
She was
Cece.
How you
she was a
doing?
fantastic guest, and she's got a great channel. So check out CC Clemens' channel if you have a chance. Bob just popped in. He says, "Dell and Rich, what's going on?"
What's
I
up,
guess you
Bob?
weren't on the screen yet, Dave.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna.
That's fine. No, Bob forgets about me. It's fine.
I'll take that bullet for Bob. It's all good. And there, see, he came back. He came back. He said, "Dave." And then he says, "Happy birthday, Miles. The name
Well, thank
inspo
you.
is dope."
Thank you.
And let's see if anybody else has popped in. All right. So here's what I'm gonna do because, like I said, I'm still like kind of settling in here. I'm gonna step away for just a minute, but what I want you guys to do is just kind of tell everybody about Phrases for Radio and how that came about.
Okay, man. Take it away, Dave.
All right. Well, the Faces for Radio podcast is Rich and myself. We partnered up a couple years ago and decided to basically merge our brands into one. But what we do is we review new releases every week on Wednesday nights normally. This week, though, we're doing it on Saturday. Um, but we take 5 or more new releases. It tends to be more. And we basically review them using a scoring system that I developed. And Rich is now in the habit of doing that with every movie he watches.
It's a
But
Pavlovian response now.
yeah, it's muscle memory. So
Hmm.
if you guys get a chance, definitely check us out. But yeah, it just kind of by accident that Rich and I ended up doing the same show, and it started with 4K D-Ray, where
Yeah.
we actually did the Steelbook competition on 4K D-Ray's channel,
Yep.
and then you showed up on my channel, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to just jump in?"
Yeah. And
And the
off to the
rest is
races from
history.
there.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been going on for it'll be in February. It'll be 3 years.
Yeah, it just went by so fast too.
Yeah.
So we owe a big thank you to 4K D-Ray for that. So
Yeah.
yeah, so if you're
But
watching
yeah,
D-Ray,
no,
we appreciate it.
it's been awesome. It's been a great ride, and we're coming up on
Yeah,
our 100th episode of By the Numbers, which should air at the end of this year. So our last show of the year
yeah,
will be our 100th episode of By the Numbers. So we're looking to have like a whole bunch of guests and um, do a big old show. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
yeah. People that's watched the movies with us, because it's a task sometimes to watch these. It's only 5 movies, but sometimes the movies are real stinkers.
Sometimes,
So
and and we've each picked them. We're yeah,
mhm,
let's watch this one, but it's never, we don't think that it's going to be interesting, so we watch it. We just watch it because it's new.
yeah,
So we bite that bullet for you guys. If you're like, I don't know if I want to see that, as a general rule, we'll go ahead and see it no matter what. If we get a chance, if we can get it in the theater, or we can get it on
yeah.
streaming, or get it on physical, we'll just go ahead and watch it. And then we'll let you know whether we thought it was crap or not.
Thank you guys for covering for me for a minute. I don't know if you were watching.
Hey, no
It's like
problem,
Yeah,
man.
we got
I'm
you,
like
Del.
Keystone Cops back here right now.
I thought you were going back and forth, and I was like, Del's busy. We can take it.
We got some more happy birthdays for
Oh, thank
Miles
you.
over here. We got some hellos to each other, of course, and I'll probably be skipping over a lot of the hellos to each other. The pop-ins, I will say. Well, Gizmo is here. He says, "Hey guys, pop-ins. I'll definitely stop in and check on those." And Giz says, "Hope you stay strong, fit, and ready for love." I'm not sure who that's for, but okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
And I do have something for Gizmo in just a minute. I'm going to come back to that before we actually get started. And I guess he's talking to Steve. Steve says, "No time for love, Dr. Jones." Okay, we're doing movie quotes. Okay. And
Okay, now we know what's going on.
yeah. Jeff says, "Y'all have totally bit a bullet for me."
We try, man. We try.
Yeah.
Tiana, yay, 100th episode. So yeah, and end of
What's
the
up,
year. I
Tiana?
got excited because I thought you were
What's
going
up,
to
Tiana?
say Saturday, but we'll get to that. But
Saturday is going to be 71. I think it's
70
71.
or 71. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 71 because I was starting to work on the thumbnail, so
Mhm.
it's 71 this week.
okay.
With
All
our
right.
very special guest, Del himself will be
Yeah, we
joining
got
us.
Dell coming on. I'm
That's
excited
right. I'm
for
gonna
that.
hang out with you guys on Saturday night. All right. And we'll get back to that. Before we actually get started, I did want to go back to Gizmo, and because Gizmo's been hounding me for weeks now. He's been telling me I gotta watch Mighty Peking Man, and I promised him I would have Mighty Peking Man watched by tonight, and I did it. I watched Mighty Peking Man actually earlier today. And have you either of you heard of this movie, Mighty Peking Man?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, it is actually on this set here, the Short Scope set, Volume 1, but it's a movie. It is a Hong Kong made, Shaw Brothers made King Kong ripoff from I think 1977. I think it came out, and our gorilla is called. I guess he's Mighty Peking Man because they don't actually say that in the movie at all ever, but it is. It is outlandish. It's like imagine King Kong, the story of King Kong, because they take that story pretty much whole, but they inject like Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, into it,
Okay.
and it's
Oh, that's weird.
it's weird. And she's running around in a costume. If you've ever seen Sheena, she's got Tawny
Mhm.
Roberts has got
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
outfit on, and she's got a very similar outfit on, except one side of it is quite literally hanging on by a nipple, and so and she's running around, and it's like, how does that not pop out? But tape is a game changer, I guess.
I was gonna say, yeah. I hope it's
I'm
not
gonna,
super glue, but I'm very interested in this movie now.
yeah, it is. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's for me. It was one of those so bad it's awesome movies.
Yeah.
So I had a good time with it. Yeah, it was just nuts. All right, so we wasted enough time. We started late, so let's go ahead and get into it. We're just gonna go around the horn. Since Rich is over here at the top, we're gonna start with Mr. Rich. If you would introduce the movie that you had us watch and give us a brief synopsis, and we'll go from there.
Well, anybody that knows me knows I like romantic comedies. I don't know why. I just do. But I picked Sleeping with Other People. It stars Jason Sudeikis and well, mine just went blank. What's her name?
Is it
Alison Brie.
Alison Brie?
Alison Brie. They're in college. They lose their virginity to one another, and then years gone by, they both become sex addicts and put one and one together. It's a simple romantic comedy, and they fall in love, have sex, or no, wait, they don't have sex. They fall in love, and there you go. That's it, really.
I thought they did at the beginning. Wasn't that a one night stand when they
Well,
met?
yeah. Well, I mean, they had
Well,
to give up
the
their
virginity was
virginity.
that was sex,
Yeah,
but
that was
Yeah,
sex. But I mean,
um,
after when they run
got
into
you.
each other again.
but after when they meet 12 years later or whatever, then
Yeah,
they don't actually have sex. They're just
yeah.
each other's best friend, and they kind of grow into a love.
And I love that. That's what I really liked was how they would start off as friends again, and then just slowly, fell in love with each other.
All right, so let's go back to that beginning though. Um, how did you like that setup? How did you guys like that setup when the first meeting in college?
It's hard to buy Jason Sudeikis as a college student because
I
of
was
the
thinking
age
the
he
same.
is. He's
I'm
very
like, I'm
hard.
looking at the hair, and I'm like, okay, is that
Yeah,
what they did to try to make him look younger?
yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah.
still looked like he
That
was about
He
38.
still looked like he's 35.
yeah. Alison Brie, she looked fine. She looked like a college. She's an attractive young lady. But Jason Sudeikis, no, he doesn't fly. It's a little cheesy, but it gets you to the story, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, it does get you to the story. Dave, any thoughts on that?
Well, I was trying to think back to when I was in college, which, dinosaurs roam the earth. And I was like, I don't know. She seemed kind of psycho. And I don't know if that psycho hot meter would tip to the scale to where, and then I thought, yeah, I'd probably invite her into my dorm. So, but yeah, it was a little hard to swallow, but I
Yeah,
get they had to introduce him in some way, and then
yeah,
they can get to the real story, which was 12 years later. So I let that go ahead and marinate as much as it
Yeah,
could.
yeah. So, was he a smooth talker, or they just got together because the script said so? Because
I think it's because the script they said so.
because I'm listening to things he was saying to her, and I'm like, I don't know if that would fly.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it was kind of dorky,
yeah.
but
If any three of us said that, we'd all get laughed at.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Which is funny because Jason Sudeikis is a funny guy, so
yes,
Mhm.
should have got laughed at.
Yeah.
But I guess that's neither here nor there.
yeah.
Uh,
I guess that spells romance for Alison Brie, but yeah, I don't.
But I'm just
Yeah,
gonna say,
right.
I was like,
Allison.
I'd have got slapped. In
Yeah,
fact, I have been slapped. But yeah,
I think Alison Brie is stunning in this movie. I think she's absolutely
she's
beautiful
cute.
in this.
Yeah,
She's
I
just got
know
this look to her.
I've seen her before, but I've never seen her in this light. And I mean, the Catholic schoolgirl skirt, but yeah, she was cute in this. I liked
Yeah,
her personality, and the chemistry between her and Sudeikis was actually pretty good.
yeah, I agree.
I was
So what you
surprised by
got
that.
past
Though.
that?
It was. I was actually surprised that by the chemistry,
Yeah,
and I think it's because I always think of Sudeikis as this just kind of just barely on the edge, and then waiting to kind of go off the rails, but never really having a strong connection with the other people in the movies that he's
hmm
in.
right.
Yeah,
And I felt that way even like in We're the Millers. Not
That
that.
was exactly what I was thinking of
yeah,
Yeah.
with him and Jennifer Aniston, where I was just like, yeah, it just teeters on the edge of obscurity, and then drops off. And this one, yeah, the chemistry was actually really good between the two.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She played well off of him, and I've never seen her that snarky in a movie.
What was that
So
one we watched with John Cena that she was in?
that was the Freelance, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I don't
She
think I've
wasn't
seen
as
Freelance
good
yet.
in that
She
as
wasn't
she
as
was
good
in
in
this.
that, but that wasn't as good of a movie.
That's true.
you,
That
you
is
got
true.
you got John Cena, and John Cena's
That's
my boy,
true.
but you got John Cena, and then you got Jason Sudeikis. You might as well, yeah.
That's true.
That's like
That is true.
shooting a bullet and throwing it when it comes to comedy.
That is true.
Pretty much. Though Cena has some funny moments. Though I don't hate him.
Yeah.
He's gotten
No,
better. I mean,
he's
if you see
gotten
Peacemaker,
comedy is
yeah,
what he's best at.
Yeah.
But yeah, and his timing's okay.
and Ricky Stenicki, he was good.
I haven't seen that one yet. Peacemaker.
I liked Ricky Stenicki. That was funny. That cracked me up. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, Peacemaker's fantastic.
Yeah, Peacemaker's really good. I really had fun with that. All right, so we fast forward after the college stuff, and they they're off living their separate lives, and we watch them both go through a breakup.
Yeah.
So what did you think about Jason Sudeikis' breakup first? Let's go there first.
I got to admire his attempt at logic here. Like the way he was like, now really, are you upset that I cheated on you, or are you upset who I cheated with?
Yeah.
So, and then he but he still got pushed into traffic. So
Yeah.
So I thought that was funny, but he was really trying to make it seem like it was her fault. And
and you think she's gonna buy it there for a hot second?
Gonna go for it, and then he ends up hailing a cab literally. But her relationship, I don't know, that was weird. Just
with Adam Brody.
The way, Sam, the way she was, and the way she was hung up on the other guy, the gynecologist.
I thought you were talking about the breakup.
Well, no, the breakup. Adam Brody was weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
that was weird.
Who's hotter than my brother?
Nobody's hotter than my brother. And I'm like, okay, wait.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
I was prepared for that because I watched the trailer, but it still was like, why are you having that discussion? But now it's just that her whole obsession with the other guy was just really weird.
Yeah, but you know what? To me, that's real, because there are people that are just obsessed with somebody that's toxic like that, and to me, that's show why I connected with it, because it felt very real. Because I know people like that. And no matter what you say to them, that person's still that person to them.
Yeah, that happens a lot actually. Yeah. My problem with it though was the way they tried to reason it out in the story, in the script, because we're told is that both characters, Jason Sudeikis and Alison Brie, we're told that they're sex addicts. And with Sudeikis' character, yeah, I get it. He's a sex addict. But with her, I didn't think she was a sex addict as much as she was just obsessed with this one guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt that way or not.
Yeah.
The only way it came across to her being sex, because she talked about it to her sister, her friend.
Yeah.
That's it. But you never saw it.
Right. And that's why I was watching this whole movie. I was like, she doesn't come across as an addict to me, other than to him.
Other than being addicted to that one guy.
Right.
Like she just she can't get over that one guy. But in looking at it from the outside, neither of them admitted that they were sex addicts. Jason Sudeikis' character, he went to sex therapy because his girlfriend made him.
Yeah.
And then ended up breaking up with him anyway. And with Alison Brie's character, she went to that therapy because her therapist said that she needed that.
Right.
So, but Jason Sudeikis' character, total horn dog, absolute horn dog. If it had a heartbeat, he was going for it.
Yeah,
including his boss.
Amanda Pete.
Yeah, going into something you said, Dave, that he never really owns up to the fact, right?
No.
So I got the idea that he was only at the meeting to try to pick somebody up.
Yeah, I get that. Totally understand that.
Yeah. So then the two of them, so they do meet at this first meeting. For anybody who's wondering, they do meet at this first meeting, and they start a platonic relationship. They decide it's going to be a platonic relationship. And what do you guys think of this relationship?
Mousetrap.
I bought it.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. And the way that they kind of came to that. It looked at first like they were gonna go for it again,
Hmm.
and then they both stopped
Yeah.
and decided that they were gonna come up with a safe word so that they would stop what they were doing, stop advancing,
Right.
and help each other get through what they were doing. So it was almost like they were each other's sponsor,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that a
that's a
good
good way to
idea
put
though?
it. Well, no, not really.
And
But again, this is another movie that I like to find like I can identify with. Their relationship is how me and my girlfriend started. We were just friends, and that's why I connect with this movie. Not that I was a sex addict or anything, but just
come on, Rich, we
just
know.
the just because of the how they became friends and they just grew. I dug that.
Well,
Yeah. It was cool to see it play out. It,
Hmm.
I don't know. Sudeikis' character, he just felt slimy to me the whole time. Even though, yes, I agree with you guys. They had a good chemistry, but it was always like he's just trying to figure out his way, and he's trying to snake his way in somehow. It never felt like, okay, we're
But he was
just friends.
always there for her when she needed him. He
Okay.
was always there, except the time he was on a date, right? When she
Yeah.
called him, and that's the only time I think in the movie that he
yeah,
didn't
it was the
pick
only
up.
time that therefore he didn't answer the phone was
Yeah,
when he was
Right.
out with Amanda Pete with the
yeah.
boss.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, he was slimy towards those people.
everybody,
Yeah, but I
slimy
didn't
towards
think he came off
everybody,
slimy.
including his best friend. He
Oh,
was slimy,
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
not to Allison Brie's character. She
yeah. I
was the
didn't. Yeah, I
only
didn't think.
one that he was, he would. There were certain things that he did that seemed slimy, but
Yeah.
he didn't pursue that, and that was interesting. But like anything else with a heartbeat, he was slimy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, big time. Big time. Um, Side characters in the movie. Any that stuck out to you, or any guy that you liked?
I liked his friend.
I like
I
the best friend and his wife.
hmm Yeah,
I like their relationship.
yeah. I thought that
Yeah,
was
they
funny.
they were cool. They
I
were cool. They
Yeah,
a little much sometimes, but they were cool.
little
I
yeah.
dug that when they're sitting there trying to sign to sell the company. And he's like, "My kids need braces." Something because that hits home. You have kids. We all have that, you know.
Yeah,
And that just made me laugh.
yeah, that was cool.
It was
For me, I even though she was also too much, but I liked her best friend, played by Natasha Lyonne.
Hmm.
I really enjoyed her character,
yeah.
even though she was a bit much at times too.
But since this came out, she's gotten a lot better at her acting. I think
Since you said since what?
Yeah,
since
this
this
was
movie came out.
2015, so it's been
Yeah,
what, 9 years.
yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
I liked her. She wasn't involved too much, but and then
No,
yeah, what she did, I felt she was a little over the top. But as far
Yeah.
as, but she was the kind of the female version of Jason Sudeikis to me,
yeah, yeah.
right? So she
She
was the
was
one that
Yeah.
was
kind of
saying,
that.
"No, you need to f this dude, and you need to, and she was trying to get Allison Brie to go and have sex with somebody, have sex with Jake, which is Sudeikis' character. So that's
Hmm.
it. It kind of mirrored what Jason Sudeikis and his best friend had.
Right,
Was what
right,
I felt. It was like a symbolism of the two opposite sides of the coin.
right. That's
Yeah.
fair. Now with that best friend though, we got a birthday party. We talked about Miles's birthday. We got a birthday party. Uh,
Hmm.
Tell me about his birthday party. Either one of you, go for it.
Um, for the movie.
Uh,
In the movie, yes,
yeah.
in the
No,
Tell
movie,
us
okay. It's
about
like
Miles's birthday party, Rich. How was that?
not about
it's not
Miles's
till
birthday
Saturday.
party,
I was
but
like, it's not
in
till
the movie,
Saturday.
we got the best friend and
There's a
their kid
moment.
is having a
I
birthday.
I I
We
thought
all
they
have
were
that.
kidding. I thought they were kidding when they said you want to do Molly and go to the birthday party.
Right.
I
Right.
thought he was kidding. I thought it was a joke. But
But no, but there's that moment at least for me, you have that moment where you see your other person just doing something and you just get infatuated with them. Like, you know, that person's that person for you. And I think that was that moment for him, which she's out there dancing with the kids, and then next thing they're coming down in the pool. I don't know.
Mhm.
I really dug that part too.
Yeah, they definitely set it up where it was an epiphany for him. It was a
Yeah,
moment where he looked at it and was like,
I
okay.
really like that.
Yeah, and that was when I liked the best friend's wife. That's when I liked her character.
Mhm.
When she answered the door and she was like, "Oh, I haven't been high in so long," and she
Because they had flip flops, didn't they?
and I was
They
like,
had flip flops.
yeah, the flip flops and the hot pants for the for the birthday boy, and it was just it. I thought she really kind of she kind of hit home for me because it kind of reminded me of my relationship with my wife.
Mhm.
And
That's
you know,
awesome.
I would, you know, because it you know, because we had kids at kind of a young age, and now we've got grandkids, and expecting our third grandkid.
At still kind of a young age.
Still, well, thanks. But um, but yeah, so it's like those. Oh, I remember when I used to do that.
Right?
And so that's what that kind of reminded me of. So I liked that, and that's why I liked her character. Probably my favorite of the movie was the best friend's wife.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now we're all old married guys, though. Don't we always do that?
Mm.
We look. Oh, I remember that. I remember when I used to do
Oh,
that with
yeah, I
her.
remember when I used to be able to do that. I can't do that no more.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, lots of times, several
Yeah.
times a day. Sometimes, like, man, look at those young people doing stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so we got the thing that's kind of, I don't know if it's really holding them back, but it's more like the thing that Jason Sudeikis' character is occupying his time with while he's kind of waiting on his relationship with Bree to take the next turn, is he's having a relationship with the boss.
Right.
How'd you guys feel about that?
I thought it was okay. Like you said, it's time filler, to get you to the next plot point, I think.
Mm,
But I
Yeah.
like looking at Amanda Peet, so it was okay.
Yeah, she was pretty. And then,
Hmm.
but I saw something that's kind of where Jake as Jason Sudeikis' character, as he
mhm,
kind of became who he should be. And that was where the the womanizer kind of ended
Yeah.
when he
mhm.
confided in Paula and told her about Lainey and how he felt. And that's when he realized that's who he loved. And I thought that was an interesting moment. But yeah, other than that, it was just him. Basically, he spent half the movie trying to get in his boss's pants, and
Yes.
he
Yeah,
finally got it.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
was like, okay. And then that's just going to be over, and they're not going to do anything with that.
right, right.
So
So my
But it
thing
leads
about
to
that
that
moment.
point.
Well, go ahead, Rich. Go ahead.
No, I don't know if we want to get there yet, to that point in the restaurant. What happens in the restaurant when he
Mhm.
sees that dickhead?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, let's come back to that for a second.
yeah,
I'm gonna go back to the what Dave was talking about when he kind of revealed his feelings for Lainey. At at,
yes,
at that
at
point,
the worst possible time.
yeah, definitely the worst possible time.
Yeah,
That's for sure. This is kind of a thing that could have waited about 15 minutes, right?
yeah,
But
exactly.
but
Let's close this out, and then
yeah,
let me tell
we'll
you
talk
about
about that.
how I feel.
Right.
But no, yeah, he let the cat out of the bag. Let's say.
But she stayed with him after that. That's the part where I was like, I don't know if
I
she
don't
really does that.
know.
I mean,
And
that was
yeah, that
weird.
was especially when he was like, she said, "Do you want to talk about it?" And he goes, "Yes."
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
would think, okay, I was like, "Oh, well, she's pretty cool." And then that was going to be over,
Right.
but it wasn't.
Yeah.
And they continued seeing each other. And I don't think that in a normal setting, I don't think she would have done that.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. That's where the movie kind of threw me. I was like, no, I'm exactly what you said. She be like, okay, I get it. I understand you're in love with this girl, and you know, have a nice life, and
Thanks, I had a great time. See ya.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah,
You know,
but
That's
that's
the
not what
normal
happened.
reaction. You know,
Yeah.
that's the normal reaction.
Yeah. So, but you know, they stayed together, and I guess just to make it a little more dramatic at the end, maybe when
Yeah.
they, you know, when things finally come to a head, starting with the moment Rich was talking about. I told you we were going to come back to it.
Yep.
And he sees homeboy in the restaurant.
He loses his shit.
Yeah.
Oh man, does he really lose it?
Hmm.
And I was almost ready for one of those, you know, moments they do in movies sometimes where he, you know, he actually does it, but then, you know, then he wakes up and we realize that he's not really doing it.
Like
But
he's just imagining that he's doing it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but he actually
But he
did.
he actually did it. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And that's
Like,
the way Amanda
But
Peet
you know,
reacted too. She's like,
yeah.
what?
yeah.
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 Yeah, but I mean, I can't see her all that surprised once
Mm-mm.
she knew what that was about.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, because she knew how he felt about Lainey in the first place.
Hmm.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
again, a slip of the tongue at the wrong point.
Yep.
And Paula questions, you know, hey, what do you mean, my girl? And
Yeah.
Yep.
and he's like, well, you know, and I was like, well, yeah, you should know this because he had that talk with you. You should know
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
how he felt about her. So you know, I can't say I liked that part particularly.
Right.
I kind of wanted it to end with her going off to med school and him doing his thing, and then they just kind of drift apart and live their lives.
Mhm.
But it
Oh,
comes
not me.
back together, like slams back together.
Yeah. Yeah. They're kind of they're force feeding us a happy ending is what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I get that. I understand what you guys saying there. But see, I liked that scene because because I'm a very emotional person. I wear my feelings on my sleeve. Um, I'm not saying I would do that, but I can see myself reacting like that. You know, so I get it. Like if you love this person as much as he loved her, and he sees this douchebag that done what he's done to her, I can see maybe snapping for a hot second, maybe confronting him, um, but maybe not resort to all that violence. And then and then his girlfriend finds out, and she basically leaves him.
all right. So let me throw this out there, Rich. Let me tell you. Let me see if you what you think of this. What if after the earlier scene that Dave and I were talking about when he first reveals his feelings, she
Hmm.
does the boss does go her separate ways. She's okay. That's the end of the relationship, and now Sudeikis' character is just kind of on his own and runs into the guy at the restaurant, and it still plays out the same way. And Amanda Pete, I mean not Amanda Pete, Allison Brie still, you know, has to come back and be with him. Or what do you think about that?
I think it works better. I think maybe it just works a little bit better because maybe
I agree.
he's still trying to deal with the rejection, somewhat of rejection from Amanda Pete's character. He's not in the right frame of mind. He sees this guy, and then he just loses his mental capacity for a hot second. I think it'll play better that way.
Okay. Okay. All right. Anything else anyone wants to say about sleeping with other people?
I do like how she goes back to that doctor and gets him to drop the
I
charges.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
how that happens. And it
Yeah.
wasn't like threatening or anything. It was, I'm just going to tell her the truth. And
Yeah.
maybe you've said some of the same things to her that you said to me. And I was like, ooh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. I'll
Yeah.
drop the
That
charges
was
right
a,
now.
That cuts deep.
That
that
does.
was a good scene.
Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, yeah, my favorite part, and this is the part that got me the most, was when, you know, everything came to a head, literally. He let the cat out of the bag. She ran into the dude. She threw up in the toilet.
Oh yeah.
And she's waiting at his doorstep. He brings her in, lays her on the bed. They lay next to each other. And she looks at him and she goes, "Are we in love now?" Or something like
Yeah.
that. And he kind of nodded his head, and she goes, "Well, what do we do?" And he goes, "Nothing." And I was like, I love that scene.
Yeah, that was
Mhm.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
that was the best scene of the movie. because
I
they were
agree.
like, we just
Also agree.
figured it out. We're in love, and and we don't know how it happened, but we're not going to do anything about it. We're just going to let it go.
Yeah, that's the part that got me. Because to be honest with you, when she said, "Are we in love now?" I was like, "That was like an hour ago in the movie." What do you?
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah,
are late.
you guys have been in love for a
You
while.
guys
You
are
just
late.
finally come
Yeah,
out and said it.
yeah. But the response really sold it, and it made it
Yes.
also my
Yeah,
favorite
just
scene.
I think that was Sudeikis's best moment, because he just kind of his head kind of dropped a little bit, and he just nodded,
hmm
and that was it. And then I thought that was a cool scene by him. I thought that was some of the best acting I've seen him do, is the
Yeah,
way he
Neither have
reacted to
I.
that.
Yeah.
yeah. He actually had to tap in and be a real
Yeah,
person for a bit.
he tapped in
Yeah.
and got serious for a moment, and it was
Yeah,
kind of neat to see.
yeah. It was. It was. So I'm glad about that. So here's how we're gonna do this. Normally, at this point, we give overall thoughts, meaning the person who's never seen this would just kind of give their overall viewpoint of how much they like the movie or dislike the movie, and anything else they wanted to say about it. We'll still do that. Since this was Rich's movie, that means Dave and I will do it for Sleeping with Other People. So I'm going to start with Mr. Dave. Go ahead with your overall thoughts on Sleeping with Other People.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it for the most part. It had some cliche moments, some really good stuff, some stuff that I didn't agree with. Overall, though, I thought it was a good one-time watch, and it's worth seeing. Not something
Okay.
I would go back to, but I thought I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm probably in the exact same boat as Dave. It's pretty. It was okay. It was a decent watch. It was
Yeah.
fun at times. Sudeikis, even in movies that are not great, I mean, he's usually kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
So that was cool, and I got a kick out of him and Alison Brie actually having some sort of chemistry. That was cool.
That was cool.
And yeah, my problems about towards the in the third act, really, I've already spoke about, a couple of things here or there that I thought could have changed, but overall I enjoyed it. I probably won't be going back to it, and, unless somebody's like, hey, you want to watch that, I'm not sure, but I wouldn't just seek it out again.
Yeah.
All
Hey,
right.
it's a win for me.
Yeah. So yeah,
Hey.
I'd give it a 3 out of 5.
All right. So as us, I am a teacher by trade, so I'm going to do something teachers don't normally do. I'm going to step out of the room and say, you guys talk amongst yourselves. And just to let you know what I'm doing is I'm just kind of refreshing over here on this side because the chat is not showing up, because I've been kind of checking my phone to see if there are more comments, and there are, than what I have. So if I pop out, that's why. But you guys can talk about whatever you want right now.
So next Saturday, or in a couple of days, Dell's going to be on our channel, The Faces for Radio. We're going to be doing 6 movies this week that we review and score. So this week's movies are The Hitman on Netflix, Bad Boys Ride or Die, Under Paris on Netflix, The Coffee Table on Prime Video, What Jennifer Did on Netflix. Yeah, What Jennifer Did on Netflix, and How to Rob a Bank.
How to Rob a Bank.
Netflix.
Dell's edition.
Yeah.
For this week, Dell added How to Rob a Bank.
All right. I do need to watch that one. I've watched everything else now. So
I watched it today.
Okay, cool. I'll watch that one tomorrow and be ready to roll on Saturday. I've watched everything else. So
I've still got to watch Hitman.
Definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And
it's gonna
Dave
be fun.
has disappeared. Did he jump out or?
I'm still
here. I can hear him.
I can't.
Okay.
I can't tell if I'm.
So let me go ahead and get back to some of these comments that were not showing up for me. Giz said, I love that you compared it with Sheena. He's talking about Mighty Peking Man. So for the first time this year, and love that you have seen it now, Del. Super bad fun, great time. Yeah, super bad fun. That is absolutely a way to describe it, and just corrected his spelling. Corey popped on. He says, hey, all from Wilkie's Movies and Music. When I was running behind, I was actually in the car listening to Corey's stream. So honestly, I'm kind of surprised he's on this early. Corey's streams usually go pretty long. So if you're still here, Corey,
Corey's
thank you
awesome.
for coming. Oh, he is
Corey,
definitely.
you need to come back to buy the numbers.
Yep.
Yeah, Corey's great. Robert makes the cut and stepped in. Hey, Robert, he says, hey,
What's up,
everyone.
Rob?
And we got a lot of highs back and forth between the crew. And I like this one. Holland says, Tiana, I followed you here. So I guess they were both over at another stream, maybe Corey's.
Maybe Corey's.
James says, I need to check out some films with Sudeikis, a blind spot for me. He's got a lot out there.
He does.
I talked to we talked a little down on We're the Millers, but I honestly though it's a hilarious movie in my
It is a
opinion.
We're the
funny
Millers is funny. It was really just
Yeah, it's
chemistry.
really good. And of course the Hangover movies. I'm not sure if you've seen those, James, or not.
Yeah. The thing with
Adrian
We're the
James.
Millers is I don't like Jennifer Aniston outside of Friends. I have a hard time buying her as an actress. So I think for me, it's her and that makes Jason Sudeikis not work at times in that movie.
Okay. I don't think she's a great actress. And honestly, I don't really like Friends, but I liked her in a lot of other stuff, and it's helped that she has aged so gracefully.
Yeah,
She is still a
Yeah.
gorgeous woman, even
she
at
is.
whatever age she is now. I don't know if she's 96 or 97, whatever age she is right now.
I don't know.
Adrian says, hey, everyone. And yeah, Jeff says he thinks John Cena is actually funny. Yeah, he's not bad. He's not bad, especially like I said, Peacemaker. He was great.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for season 2 of Peacemaker if we ever get it.
They're working on it now, actually.
Yeah, I swear I've heard that for like a year and a half now. We're
Yeah.
working on it. So I don't know. David White at Arcade and Toy Channel. What's going on, David? He says, hello. How's everyone doing tonight? We're doing pretty well. Thanks for popping in. And here for the coffee table chat. We'll come Saturday over to Faces for Radio. That's where the coffee table chat is going to be. And I think we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
We got a lot. I will let on this much. I was in a good mood when I started the movie, and then I was not okay when it ended. But that's
that movie made my gut churn.
My god! I was like, I was bored, and then
tough.
I went.
But yeah, we'll get into that Saturday.
Oh yeah,
Patrick
that's
also
gonna be
says Jason Sudeikis is an amazing actor. Okay, so we got a Jason Sudeikis fan out there. And he says, are you talking about Sleeping with Other People? That is an IFC film. Yes, we are talking about Sleeping with Other People, but you figured that out now. And Patrick, he was on a couple weeks back. And I don't know if you caught that one, but Patrick is a huge IFC film guy. So I didn't realize it until I watched this movie that it was IFC. And I was like, oh, yeah.
See, I didn't know that either until recently.
Yeah. Sudeikis was great in Colossal and Book of Love. Up there,
Colossal, he's fantastic. I really like Colossal. He's a jackass in that.
Yeah. Patrick, there you go to coffee table. Yep, we talked about that. He says, Corey says, I'm okay. I'm not sure what we're talking about that he's okay, but I'll let the members of the chat hash that out. All right, so Dave is back, and Mr. Dave, it is your turn. Let us know what movie you had Rich and I watch, and give us a quick synopsis if you don't mind.
Alrighty, so I picked the 1995 movie Murder in the First, starring Christian Slater, Kevin Bacon, and Gary Oldman. It reads as an eager and idealistic young attorney defends an Alcatraz prisoner accused of murdering a fellow inmate. The extenuating circumstances are that his client had just spent over 3 years in solitary confinement.
All right, so we were just told we just kind of talked a little bit about Coffee Table because it was mentioned in the chat, and I don't know if you heard it, Dave, but I said I was in a good mood when I started that movie. I was not quite okay at the end. This is one of those kind of movies, though. I was not quite okay when it ended. Did anybody else kind of have that same experience
with Murder in the First?
Yeah, with Murder in the First.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was tough.
Mm-hmm. What made it tough for you?
Well, Kevin Bacon's performance for one. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Kevin Bacon fan because usually he's the same character to me. But man, he dug deep for this one, and just you can see the pain on his face
Mhm.
from the torture, and then that courtroom scene. Just wow. I really can I just jump to that, or do you want to wait?
Yeah, go for it. We can work our way back through the movie also.
When he takes the stand to testify, holy crap! I think that was for me the best part of the movie. You get all these little buildups. You see little glimpses of him. You know the struggle he's went through, the pain, the trauma. But when he takes that stand, you're like, oh, that's a punch in the gut.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm with you on Kevin Bacon. I like him. I don't love him.
Yeah,
But this was some of the best acting I've seen from him. Might be the best acting I've seen from him, to
yeah.
be honest with you. I'm going through my head. In my head, I'm kind of going through Kevin Bacon movies
Mhm.
that I can think of, but I think this is his best performance that I can think of, to be honest.
I agree with you that in the following.
Um,
Okay, I don't think I've
was
seen
that
that one.
one that he did? He did something, Death Sentence.
Never seen it.
Yeah, I've
Um,
never seen that one
oh
either.
man, that's fantastic. I did like the first Stir of Echoes with him. It was a little. It was pretty good. I liked his performance in it. But yeah, this was like, I mean, I think everything's better with Bacon, but I think this is pound for pound his best performance that he's done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Rich. I mean, you just kind of feel all the pain all the way through the
Hmm.
movie with this guy, and by the time we do get to that courtroom scene, it just comes flooding out, and yeah, it's a pretty tense moment for sure, for sure. Um, early on, we see kind of what's going on. I mean, he's been in the hole. He comes back upstairs and it, he goes back down because something else happens. It's crazy, on and off. 3 years in the hole,
And this
and
is inspired by true events.
Yes.
yes, yes, I did know that. Um, he's not well. He's not eating for one. Is also helping him look really frail. His character's not
Yeah.
eating, and eventually this comes to the desk of Christian Slater, who's a lawyer who's kind of on the outs, really, at his firm. He's kind of like or
Yeah, he's
barely
just like
hanging on.
Joe
Yeah,
Blow, public defender guy. He was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
and I think a good performance by Christian Slater. He's not normally a really good actor either.
I agree
Right.
I thought
100%
he
with
did
that.
really good here.
He's one that I always think always plays the same guy, for
Yeah.
sure.
Uh,
That kind of smarmy kind of guy, just
Like
want
a
to be
watered
tough.
down Jack Nicholson is where I feel like
oh,
Christian Slater is.
yeah.
Fair,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
You're
yeah.
really right.
Very fair. But I think he kind of stepped away from that here,
Hmm.
and it served the movie really, really well. And did you think they had chemistry though between them, between Slater and Bacon?
I did. I think it worked. Once you got um, him to open up and talk, or a little bit of talking, the issues I had with Christian Slater and Kevin, the hooker thing really bothered me.
Ooh, okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Because I don't know if I missed it, the dialogue, what led to that? Because I didn't. I was like, wait, did I miss something? Um, when like he just brought her there and expected her to have sex with him. I don't understand why that was there.
Okay. I want to hear what Dave has to say before I say anything.
Okay. So in the movie, I mean, like in the beginning when they first started to get to know each other, Kevin Bacon was like playing with himself and he was like talking about he hadn't had sex and then he was never going to have sex again because he was going to spend the rest of his life in prison. And Christian Slater kind of snuck the hooker in as his secretary.
Yep.
Right.
And I just want to say, played by Kira Sedgwick, his real life wife is the hooker because
Hmm.
she was the only one that was allowed to do it. And so she came in and did that to kind of, give him his one chance at copulation.
I
So,
did
I
not
just
know
didn't
that they
think that
were actually
worked.
married.
Yeah.
It actually worked for me, and it's because all the way through the movies, the things that he was doing whenever there was a woman present, he was
Yes.
grabbing at him
Grabbing
or
himself,
playing
playing with
with
himself.
himself
Yeah.
or grabbing himself. And he was really aggressive, and then admitting that he had never had sex.
Yeah.
So I could see that as a logical step Christian Slater's character would take, just be like, hey, I got to get this guy,
Let's blow some steam
fully
off.
on board, blow some
Yeah,
steam off, and be fully on my side, be fully
Yeah.
on board with this, because
Yeah.
I need him, and it doesn't work. So I could see that as a step he's taking. You know what? If I get him a woman, then he'll be grateful to me or in my debt or understand that I'm really here for him.
At least
So I
stop
can see
touching
that.
himself in the courtroom.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's
I don't
where I
know.
was. That. Go ahead, Rich.
See, I have a lot of family that worked in corrections, and that is a very common thing.
Mhm.
So I guess maybe that's why it just didn't work. Like what lawyer would risk?
Like, yeah, he was just a public defender. Like he was just,
Yeah,
and he really had nothing to lose because, like
it
Dell
just
said, he was on the outs. He was probably not going to be a lawyer much longer, so he took this case because no one else wanted it.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know.
and
It
even
just
through this
bothered
case,
me.
they were trying to get rid of him,
Yeah.
constantly throughout the movie.
Yeah, they were trying to get him to settle and get out of it, and and just
Yeah,
he's
I
like,
don't know.
no, I'm fighting for this dude.
That's the only part of the movie I did not really like.
Okay.
But that's just me.
Yeah. As you guys always say on your show, all art is subjective, right?
Oh, yes.
So yeah, so it worked for Dave and I, not for you. That's okay. That's not a problem.
I thought it was a cool moment because it was like almost like their friendship kind of gelled there, where he was like, "Hey, this is Blanche. Go ahead, have fun. I'll give you
Right.
10 minutes." And and
What
she
if a
has
mind
she has
good of
one of the
Golden
best
Girls?
lines in the movie, where
She's got a couple.
something about trying to put an oyster in a slot machine. And
Yes. Yeah.
and I was just like,
Yeah. That was it. That was funny.
Yeah. When you say Blanche, my mind goes to Golden Girls for some reason. Was that a
right?
character on?
Well, that's
Yeah, that was a character.
That's 95. So yeah, maybe that was Blanche later on. I don't know, but because Blanche was still hot.
Which one was the promiscuous one? I can't remember. I remember by face. I can't remember by name. Which one?
I think that was Blanche. It was Blanche. Blanche was the fornicator.
See, we all know who Golden Girls are.
We all know who our Golden Girl was.
It's a great show.
Yeah, it was.
It was
great show.
It was hilarious.
Yeah. I thought there was a little. I'm trying to remember, what year did Shawshank come out? Was that before this or after this?
After, I think.
I'm not sure.
After, okay, and because I only reason I mentioned Shawshank at all.
No, the year before. It was 94.
It was 94.
94. It was the year before this.
Okay. Aside from being, in prison, obviously, but the other thing that came up was Rita Hayworth again. I was like, oh wait, is that just a thing in every prison movie now? We're going to talk about Rita Hayworth. If you've seen Shawshank more than once, like most of the movie buff population, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most perfect films ever made.
I agree.
Shawshank. I think it's an amazing film.
It is outstanding. Now, back to this one, we got Slater and Bacon, and there, he's visiting. Slater's visiting the prison every so often, and they had a conversation. I wrote down a line that I really, really enjoyed. As another one of the great lines in the movie, and Slater's basically trying to get him to join in and take up for himself, because he's like, dude, you're gonna die. And Bacon looks at him and says, "I'm already dead."
Yeah,
and I thought that was a powerful moment for me, at least for me, in the movie.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Then we got this whole, and I guess we can compare it to Shawshank, because we got, in both movies, we got the warden kind of heading things up and making a mess of things.
Yeah.
What'd you think about this guy? Was he a strong enough bad guy?
He was an asshole. Um, he's very typical. He didn't stand out. I mean, he was just like any other power hungry warden. Same type of person in every prison movie you see, from
Hmm.
Lockup to would you say Shawshank? This,
Hmm.
it's all the same.
Mm. Okay, and that's kind of where I was. It was like, he's a bad guy, but he's not so bad that he's gonna be the memorable part of this movie.
Mhm.
It was pretty
Yeah.
clearly Bacon and then Slater, and then
Yeah.
their
But what
And
he
relationship.
even
did
though
was,
it's Gary Oldman, who's like one of the best actors in the business,
Yes.
and to have him play second fiddle to Kevin Bacon
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
as far as acting goes, that was a surprise
yeah,
for me. I thought Gary Oldman was good. I thought he was solid in his role,
and he still
but
doesn't think what he did was wrong. He
no, he
never
thought
admits
he
what
was in
he.
the right the whole time.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I liked that
Yeah,
in
he
the
didn't
movie,
waver.
but it's but yeah, to sit there and go, yeah, Kevin Bacon and Christian Slater did a better job than Gary Oldman in the
Yeah.
movie. That's just that doesn't make
Doesn't
any
sound
sense
right.
on paper.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't sound right coming out of your
Yeah.
mouth. It's like,
Yeah.
no, that can't be. But yeah, they did. And like you said, he was good. We just didn't spend as much time with him as we probably could have.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think maybe if we did, we might start to sympathize with him, and I don't think you would want that.
Point.
Yeah, I think the whole point was to sympathize with Kevin Bacon's
Yeah,
character
Mhm.
than Gary Oldman's character. But yeah, if you had more time with the warden and understood more about
yeah,
how he was doing it, then maybe there would be a little bit more on his side. I agree with
yeah,
Rich on that.
yeah.
Or maybe the little that we did have was intentional
Mhm.
because we wanted the sympathy to go toward Kevin Bacon,
Okay. I definitely get that. I was thinking more along the lines of seeing him do more evil things.
which I would have loved.
Oh, yeah.
Do more,
Right.
yeah. Doing even to other prisoners, maybe showing him doing other things to other prisoners and things like that. But yeah, a little bit more of him being but again, that would make him seem too evil, but you kind of wanted to
Okay.
see
Yes,
like he
because
thought he was in the right. So you don't really want to go too far with him to where you're like, no, you're
yeah,
just a bad guy. You want to go,
Right.
okay, well, you thought you were right, but you weren't. And um yeah. That's an
He
interesting point, Del. I like that.
yeah,
okay. He kind of gave me. It's coming up more because his name came up a few minutes ago, but it's kind of reminding me of Jack Nicholson's character in A Few Good Men. He never thinks
hmm
he's done anything wrong, and then his big
Exactly.
moment, of course, is on the stand
Right.
later on in the movie, and it's kind of similar to what happens here with Gary Oldman's character.
Hmm.
yeah,
So, yeah, that's cool. Now the we find out there's another bad guy in his own law firm aside from the boss, because the boss just doesn't
yeah,
just the boss seems to generally just have a disdain for him, but he's not like
yeah,
going out of his way to do things to him
Right.
other than handing him this crappy case that he says you probably can't win anyway. Here, take it.
yeah,
But um we get another villain in there. We get his brother.
yeah. But you can see that coming a mile away as soon as he walked into that apartment. It was the apartment,
Okay.
right? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
he just came off slimy to me.
Yeah, but I wasn't expecting
I
him
didn't
to
know
be
Jason Sudeikis was in this one.
I don't know. I didn't like him.
Well, that's cool because you weren't supposed to like him.
You're not supposed to like him. That's what makes it. Then he did his job right because
Yeah,
you're not supposed to like him at all.
Right, right. Um, so I didn't expect him to go to that extreme, or for him to be the one behind what
oh
happens to
yes,
Christian
yeah. But
Slater.
he wasn't supposed to be there though. Remember, he wasn't. Um,
Yeah, I get it, but if my brother does that and he's like, well, you weren't supposed to be there, that's a shitty excuse, dude. What are you doing?
I agree. I totally agree with you.
It's
I
like, oh
agree.
no, me and you got to fight now. It's this just
Yeah, we're
that's the way
yeah.
around.
Thanksgiving's gonna be really hot.
It's about to go down.
Yeah,
We're gonna settle this.
yeah.
I liked the brother in this. I thought it was a a cool thing. I did. It was kind of pretty. As soon as I saw him, I'm like, okay, he's going to be a problem.
Mhm.
But I liked that inclusion. I liked him as another antagonist in this.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we needed something. We needed something on the Slater side of things to
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
slow him down or stand in his
something. Yeah,
way.
something stopping Slater, because we had Gary Oldman who did everything to Bacon. Now we've got somebody that's doing something to Slater. So now you've
Yeah.
got sympathy for Slater at the same time.
Right. Right. And I'm with you. I really like that part of the movie. The part I wasn't so sure on was Slater's strategy in court. And I was like, well, maybe this is why he's not that good a lawyer. He
Didn't start out too. Yeah.
didn't
No.
start out too hot.
Yeah.
And then
no.
he eventually lands on the strategy. Well, you know what? We're not gonna just make it about the system. We're gonna try to charge the warden with murder and all these other crimes. And I that part didn't quite sit well with me. How did that work for you guys?
Mm.
Well, it's my pick, so you go, Rich.
What was the question again? Sorry, my brain farted.
No, well,
and this is why we do Faces for Radio. 'Cause, now he was
No.
talking about the whole strategy that Christian Slater used in the movie, how he changed and went after the warden. How did you feel about that?
Oh, I liked that.
Yeah.
I like
Okay.
that because you didn't know what you're going to get with Kevin Bacon on the stand. You
Yeah.
have to find a way to win because you don't know how he's going to react.
Yeah.
And he was going to say, at what point did he say he was going to say he did? He wants to plead guilty. Was that?
Was it appellate court? It might have been appellate court, but I'm not sure.
But no, he wanted to go on the stand and say he was going to plead. He wants to not fight anymore. He just wants to.
Right.
As a lawyer, you don't want that. You're like,
Yeah.
no. So you have to do everything you can. I liked it. I like make this dude take the stand and go after him. I dug that.
That was a Few Good Men to me. That was
Mhm.
Cruise going
Exactly.
after Nicholson, Slater going after
Yes.
Oldman, and he
Right.
was trying to do the same thing, getting him to confess
Yes.
to doing all this, and showing that it was wrong, and that's what I saw.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I really liked it.
Because Kevin
It took
Bacon
him a while to
couldn't
get
really-
to that point, though.
Yes.
Right.
Because I was like, right now your strategy kind of blows, dude. You need to.
Yeah.
You need to. But once he was like, oh, now I know I'm going to go after him, and then I was like,
Yes.
okay, now you have a chance. Otherwise, you
Yeah.
might as well just let him plead guilty, and because he thought he was
Right.
dead anyway, so he just wanted to give up.
Right.
And then
And
how
go ahead,
Gary
Rich.
Oldman's reaction on the stand, I really like that too.
Yeah.
How
Like
angry
he was
got.
surprised. Like, yeah, he was angry and he was kind of surprised. Like, how dare
Yeah.
you?
Yes.
How dare you accuse me of doing this? And I kind of liked that. That was one of my favorite scenes. With Oldman.
He did a
Was
really good
that
job.
last bit in the court.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did. I'm just gonna pop out, look in the chat, see if there's any comments about the movies, or if anyone popped in, like Jason. He says, "Hey guys, how's it going tonight? It's going pretty
What's
good,
up,
Jason.
Jason?
What's
Glad
going
you
on,
are here."
Jason?
Corey says Death Sentence is great, so I'm gonna have to check that out now.
Definitely check it out. Really good.
All right, Steve Mares is here. What's going on,
What's up,
Steve?
Steve?
Greetings,
you're
gentlemen
doing good.
and Flip friends. Steve is great, and Jeff says Gary Oldman is a goat. Yeah, he's great.
He
in
is.
everything.
He's so good.
Yeah. So
And-
don't think that we think he was bad in this at all. He was not.
He's not.
No, it's just you're expecting him to be better than everyone else.
Yes.
Right.
Because
right.
so that's the only reason why this is kind of second tier for him, because usually, like The Professional, he is stellar in that movie, and this one he's really good. He's solid, but yeah, he's one of those where he was just like,
He's laid back. He's not
I-
over the top.
he wasn't over the top. He wasn't his bored character from Fifth Element. He was just kind of like, I'm in the right, I'm the warden, everything's great, and then bam, and then you get this really good scene at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really kind of subdued in the beginning, and I like that. But yeah, that doesn't mean he wasn't bad. It just means that Kevin Bacon really stands out here.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
his whole physical portrayal, I don't know if that's the right word, but the way he does his body in the when he's like crawling on the ground, the way he hovers in the bed.
Yeah,
Yeah, it just
twitching, and he's the way he behaved. Yeah, it was reminiscent of how Christian Bale was in The Machinist when he lost all
yes.
the
Mhm.
weight and he got all
Yeah.
frail. That's what that reminded me of. It was
Did
really
this
good.
movie get any Oscar buzz, any awards for this, or was this just another '90s movie that was put out? And
Yeah, nothing Oscar wise. It got a Critics' Choice Award. Kevin Bacon got the Critics' Choice Award for Best Actor.
okay, I mean, well
And
deserved.
that's it.
Oh
And that's
wow,
it. But yeah, no nominations. Screen Actors Guild nominee. He was nominated
okay.
for outstanding
I don't know how
performance.
I never heard of this movie.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing about this movie either. Um, and I'm not sure how. Like Rich, I'm not sure how.
Yeah.
I get that it wouldn't get the nominations. Um,
Because it's
one
got
based
Christian
on
Slater on the front of it. Right.
yeah,
So
That's
you're
true.
like,
exactly. Yeah,
That is true.
yeah.
That is
That's what I
true.
was where I was going. It's like Christian
yeah.
Slater, Kevin Bacon.
I'm sorry. He is not an Oscar. He's not an act. No, he's a one trick pony at best.
You're right.
Right.
You're right.
That
it
that
didn't.
did another trick. You're like, oh wow, he can roll over too.
Yeah.
I was like, that's awesome. And then Kevin
That's
Bacon's the
awesome.
same way. It's not Quicksilver. It's not everything else where it's Footloose, where he's basically the same guy, only he's either
Yeah.
dancing or he's riding a bike or whatever. But you got some really great performances by these two guys who fly under the radar as far as good actors go.
Yeah, and there's not enough other big names attached to it on the other side of it either. Not a big name director, not a big
Screenwriter.
name producer, screenwriters, so not enough of that. And if like you said Shawshank was the year before. Are we really going to do
Oh
another
yeah.
prison
Are we
movie
gonna
also?
do that again?
That's
Another
true.
prison movie?
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, because Shawshank, I think it got 8 Oscar nominations the year
It was a
previous or
bunch,
something.
whatever
It was a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I bet they were like, no, we're not going to do another one. But yeah, this I caught wind of this, and after I watched it, I was like, I've got to buy this movie. I love courtroom dramas, and this was top 5 for me. So I'm really glad you guys got a chance to watch it. Regardless of how you feel, I'm glad you watched it.
Yeah. I liked it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go. Let's get to that part then. But before I do that, anybody wanted to say about it? Anything more that either of you wanted to say about it before we get to the overall thoughts on this for Rich and myself this time?
I mean, I think this was. We said it earlier when we first started this. This is Kevin Bacon's best performance. I think he transforms into this convict that's been through some hell, and for nothing really, absolutely for nothing. What was it, $5 he did? Just
Yeah, he like
circumstance.
robbed a liquor store and got like $14 or something. I don't know what
Yeah,
it was, but
it wasn't.
it wasn't much. And he was like,
And it was
you know,
because it was the U.S. Post Service 2 building,
yeah,
and that's how they got him.
that became a federal
Yeah.
crime. So then he was
Yeah.
toast. So he put him in Alcatraz of all places.
Yeah. That's
I
crazy.
would watch this movie again.
Okay. For me, I do one other thing that we didn't talk about was his sister when she
Yeah.
finally comes to visit him in prison, and that was another kind of heartbreaking kind of thing.
Yeah.
That it just started us on the downward spiral that became the ending. So I will
Yeah.
warn people out there, if you're gonna watch it, just if you're a person who cries at movies, box of tissues with you, and just be kind of prepared for a rough ride of it.
Yeah.
My overall thoughts, I'm pretty much in the same boat here. It's Kevin Bacon's best work as far as his acting goes. I mean, I get it; it's not Footloose or Hollow Man or one of his more famous performances, or Wild Things or whatever. But this is where he really showed he's an actor. The
Mhm.
story it's based on a true story, but what they did with it just works all the way through. It works all the way through, even down to that ending. And it was another one where I was kind of like, oh, I need to watch something happy now after
Yeah.
after this is over.
I need, I need a comedy or something. You can watch
Yeah.
Sleeping with Other People, and then
Yeah.
gotta
But
get
yeah,
over
I
it.
really did like it though. A really
Yeah.
really great choice. Awesome.
I'm glad you
Um,
picked this one, Dave.
Yeah,
Good.
absolutely.
I'm glad you guys liked it.
Yeah. Let's see if we can go 3 for 3 because so far we've got some movies that we actually liked for all three
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So my movie that I had the guys watch is Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. And this one has Philip Seymour Hoffman in one of his, not his last role, but it's one of those last roles that he had.
Yeah, one of those
Um,
final roles.
Yeah, and he and Ethan Hawke are brothers, both kind of hard up for money. Um, we find out some things about Philip Seymour Hoffman a little later on why he's hard up for money. Ethan Hawke, we find out rather early on he's gone through a divorce and he's got to pay child support and he's way behind on that. And they decide to hatch a plan to rob a jewelry store that they know a whole lot about. And I'll leave it right there, and I'll let either one of you start wherever you want to start.
I'm just gonna say this was my favorite movie out of the three. Even the one I picked. I had never heard of this movie. I was just blown away with this movie. You said Philip Seymour Hoffman, Ethan Hawke. Wow. I think this is my favorite Philip Seymour Hoffman movie. Because holy cow. You think he's this nice guy, and then no. No, not at all. Um, but I don't know, man. I just dug this movie a lot. And I like the way it was shot, how I won't say shot, but the way it jumped back and forth in time.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty cool. Go ahead, Dave.
Marissa Tomei.
Oh,
Yes, that's the name I didn't mention.
My Lord.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that name. Yes.
Oh
Marissa
my
Tomei.
Lord.
Yes, I forgot about that. Oh my
Well,
How
God.
can
okay.
you forget about that?
Okay, I'm gonna cut you off, Dave. I'm gonna cut you off for a
Cut
second.
me off.
So I'm gonna talk about her though. The very first shot of the movie. Were you okay?
Well, I had just gotten I watched Sleeping with Other People, and there's a lot of nudity in that movie. Opening scene Before the Devil Knows You're Dead.
Yes.
A lot of nudity in this movie. But on the other side of the coin, on one side of the coin, you've got Philip Seymour Hoffman naked. And on the other side of the coin, you've got Marissa Tomei naked.
Wow.
I was just like, why? That's like, I don't know. Oil and vinegar.
Yeah.
I can't see that going together.
It looked like
doesn't
it
make
went
any
together
sense
pretty
to me.
well.
But man, I was like,
Yeah.
what? That just kind of surprised me with an opening scene.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, okay, so Dell gave me a porn movie to watch. So
how did I forget she was in this? Oh my gosh.
I don't know if she ever wore clothes in this movie. To be
Not
honest,
until at
The
not
least,
until like halfway through,
at least halfway through.
until the
Yeah.
funeral. It was
Yeah,
like,
pretty much.
I was
Or
like,
the hospital before, pretty much.
is she naked through this whole movie? Not that I'm not complaining, but I was like, what is going on? But it was interesting how it starts, and then after that, the yum yum scene, it starts with the whole botched robbery,
Right.
and you're like, okay, I have
Yeah.
no idea what's happening, except Ethan Hawke is really upset.
Yes.
His mustache.
Yeah, he rips the mustache off and rips the wig off, and he's like, ah, and he's driving around, and I was like,
The one
okay.
thing that bothers me about that scene is the car door. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like, the car door's still open, man. Shut your car door. I don't know
that's
why.
that's why he stops. So he goes and he stops in the
Yeah.
parking lot, so the door can slam shut, and
But
then
it
he
didn't
keeps
seem like
on
he
going.
stopped hard enough. I don't know. It just bothered me. That's the one thing.
Okay.
Rich is doing his physics logic. That shouldn't work like that.
I
Right.
just feel like he stopped hard enough.
I was still kind of stuck on Marissa Tomei. I was
Philip
like,
Seymour Hoffman.
oh, and then I'm not looking at the car door. I'm like, go back to where it was. I don't know what you're talking. What's
And
going
that
on?
was Aunt May, right? From the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies,
Yes.
right? Okay,
Yes.
that's what
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah.
And there's a
And
reason why everybody was flirting with her in Spider-Man.
Yes.
Yes. She's gorgeous. She is absolutely
Yes.
beautiful.
No, I'm
And
talking about the old lady.
oh, the other lady.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
that
was the
was-
original Aunt May
No,
from
yeah, that's
Tobey
what I
Maguire.
meant.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you got two Aunt Mays in the movie.
In the movie. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
I was like, babe, you let this in a secret? You like elderly people? You didn't know?
Oh no, she's pretty cute. I'm sure she was beautiful in her day. But no, equal opportunity. But no, I was talking about Marissa Tomei's Aunt May, but you're right. So there's two Aunt Mays in the movie, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
But
One of those coinciding things.
yeah, I mean, especially this is 2007, so
Is that when this was made? I
Yeah.
didn't even look at the year
Yeah.
it was made.
Yeah,
I-
2007.
This was great
Yeah.
filmmaking.
yeah. But I'm glad you had this on your list, Del, because this has been on my radar for a long time, and I've never gotten around to watch it.
Okay, cool.
So when I saw it, I was like, that's my pick, because that's the one I was like, I remember seeing that cover. I know it's Philip Seymour Hoffman and Ethan Hawke. That was one I wanted to see. But then after he passed away, and the way he passed away with the connection to this movie, which I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll talk
Mhm.
about,
Yeah.
that's what ended up turning me off to it, where I was like, nope, I don't think I want to watch it.
Right.
But no, I'm glad I did.
That was
Well,
fantastic.
let's go ahead down that rabbit hole already then, because we find out, the reason we find out that he's so hard up for money is because he's pissing it all away on drugs.
Yeah.
And pretty expensive drugs from watching what he's doing, what he's going through. Most drug addicts don't, show up at a fancy apartment and get to lay in bed while their high goes on. It's a weird setup. I forgot about
I
that.
thought
setup.
he was going there for a kink.
I
instead of
did
what
at
he-
first. Yeah.
I thought that
Yeah.
at first too, because he was taking off his shirt, and I was like,
Yeah.
is he? Because I was like, is he swinging both ways? Is there
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
there
I didn't
something
know.
going on?
That's
Is
what
there
I-
a reason why he and his wife aren't getting along very well? Is this why?
Right.
But no, it was drugs. It was all about shooting heroin,
Yeah.
Yep.
and that's what Spoiler alert to anybody who doesn't know how he died. Philip Seymour died of a heroin overdose.
Yeah.
So yeah, that gives me pause. I'm not a fan of watching drug use in a movie.
Well, that's true.
But it works for the plot point here,
Mm-hmm.
to where, okay, that's why he's hard up for money. We know Ethan Hawke's going through a divorce and he's hard up for money. And now we know
And
why
he's
Philip
getting ready
Seymour
to,
Hoffman needs money. So
he's getting ready to be audited too.
yeah, he's getting, so
Yes.
you're like, okay, so this guy's embezzling or something, because he's for lack of a better word, he's shitting bricks because the IRS is on him.
Yeah, he's
about what's
definitely
going on.
cooking the book somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's yeah.
Because don't they make reference to it at the beginning somewhat? Or was I imagining that? He's talking to somebody on the phone, or it's a recording or something.
He might be, but as the audience, I don't think we know what's going on yet.
Okay, maybe I might
Yeah.
have imagined that.
Yeah, that's what I think is happening there.
One of my
And-
favorite scenes is when the dad slaps him right across the face. I was
Oh,
like,
that was
yes. Yeah.
He earned it. He earned that
He
slap
definitely-
though.
He definitely
Yeah.
did.
But
Mhm.
you see the animosity that they had toward each other, and the dad was trying to make amends
Mhm.
with the mother passing, and Andy wasn't having it. He was like, no, you don't get to do that to me. You don't get to try to be all nice now when you were
Right.
such a dick to me when I was a kid. And yeah, no, he deserved that slap. That was earned.
Well earned. Well earned.
Slap the taste right out of his mouth. Oh, okay.
Ugh.
Um,
And that had to be a real one too.
Oh no, that was a real slap. That
Yeah, it had to be.
that was not that wasn't pulled. He smacked him.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, then we get his brother. You know, I'm gonna put up a spoiler warning here. We haven't really used it tonight, but I'm gonna put it up for this. So if anybody hasn't seen Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, or if they want to see it soon, you might want to turn the volume down or click off to another stream. Thank you for coming, but you know we're
Just
gonna talk about this for just a minute here.
plug your
Yeah,
ears
you
like
can do that
this.
too. Plug your ears
La
like
la
that.
la 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 la. Yeah, just do that.
Um, I mentioned that they're going to rob a jewelry store, and the jewelry store that they're going to rob belongs to their parents.
It's a mom and pop shop.
Yep, the mom and pop
Literally,
shop, as he says.
literally.
Yep.
um,
And when you first heard that, what was going through your minds, guys?
It's like,
oh, this is
no,
gonna go bad.
yeah,
That was the
like
first
no
thing
way.
I was like, this is gonna go all kinds of wrong, because as soon as you kind of get that, then you remember that first scene
Yep.
where
Mhm.
where the robbery went to hell, and you're like, oh, that's what that was. And
Mhm.
okay, so now you're like, okay, so what happened?
And see, I love the way they did that. I
That
loved how they jumped.
I gotta applaud the director on this, because it was
Hmm.
really played out well.
Yeah.
The director Sidney Lumet is one who a lot of us should know.
Yeah.
12 Angry Men. Did he do Dog Day Afternoon? I want to say he did Dog Day Afternoon.
The original 12 Angry Men?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna look up something here real quick.
So
Let's
yeah, Dog Day Afternoon, Serpico.
Serpico, yes. There you go.
Um,
Go ahead, Rich. You got it.
well, that
No,
was me. Running
Oh,
on
that was you.
Empty.
no, yeah. I
Uh,
was like,
Family Business, not so good, but it had Dustin Hoffman, Sean Connery, and Matthew Broderick. I kind of enjoyed
so,
that, but it
this
wasn't it.
dude
This
did
dude's
the
done some
original.
movies.
So,
Oh yeah,
the
he's legit.
original 12 Angry Men, the original from the 50s.
Yeah,
Yep.
the
Oh,
original.
wow.
Yeah.
I would have never
Yeah.
guessed that.
Oh no, and a movie that we did on you guys' channel, The Wiz.
Really?
No way, he Wiz.
Yes.
Wow.
That's
How
cool.
does he make that crap movie and then he makes this fantastic movie?
He's got
Wow.
range.
All the
Obviously,
King's
yeah.
Men. Oh man,
He's got
Wow.
range.
he's done. Man, he's what a filmography this dude
Is
has.
he still with
Yes.
us?
I think he passed a few years ago.
I think he passed. I'm trying to, because I
Well, I gotta
had
tip my hat to him. Because 12 Angry Men has become one of my favorite movies of all time.
yeah, he passed away in '92.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
so more than a few years. Okay.
92? Wait, this movie came out in 2000 what?
Oh no, I'm grabbing. No, that's his dad. That's my bad.
Confused me.
It pulled. Yeah, it pulled his dad for some reason. There's died 2011.
2011.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
yeah, that
Yeah.
makes more sense.
That's
Yep.
oh, he had lymphoma. He died of cancer.
Oh, wow.
But
Great
he-
director.
he's,
May
he's
rest, but man, what a director, dude!
yeah. He's
Nominated
one.
for 5 Oscars, never won.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. I mean, he's made these great movies, but his name doesn't often come up when
Mhm.
we talk about all-time great directors. But it should.
Yeah.
It
I
really
want to
should.
own this movie. I really do. I really liked this movie.
I do too.
I've got it on DVD. I don't have anything else. I'm not sure if there is a Blu-ray of it or not.
Last I checked, I thought it was just a DVD, because I know I was working for a video rental shop here in my little small town, and that was the year that they closed. So we got that as one of the last movies before they closed down. And I remember going, I want to see that.
Mm.
But yeah, I didn't get the chance to.
So
But yeah, I'd like to have it in my collection.
yeah, like I said, I've got it on DVD. Here it is, but not on anything else. So if anybody knows if there's a Blu-ray out there, let me know. Because I have
Yeah,
no
'cause I want
idea.
to get it. I want to get it.
Jeff muted himself. He said, "I want to see this one now. I'm on mute." So yeah,
Dude, do
let us.
yourself a favor. I watched it somewhere streaming. Where did I see it streaming?
It was
Um,
on. Was it Plex?
Oh, it was Paramount Plus, I think.
Paramount Plus.
yeah, it was
Okay.
on Paramount when I saw it. There
Yeah,
is
it
a
was on Paramount
Blu-ray.
Plus.
Okay,
There is a
cool.
Blu-ray.
Okay. Holland says, "I want to see Marissa Tomei. I mean, I want to see this movie." Understood. Definitely understood. And we got some laughs for that.
hmm
Gives Marissa Tomei as a virgin, and she's waiting for you, Holland. Wow.
There you go.
Wow.
That would be interesting. That would be nice, I guess. And yeah,
good.
Jeff said it's on Paramount. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Do
where you
yourself a
watch it.
favor, watch it. Watch it this
Yeah.
weekend.
Check it out.
Mhm.
All right. So we talked a little bit about the bank robbery. We talked about they showed it right at the beginning. Throughout the movie, we go back to this robbery several times.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I thought it was borderline genius the way they really showed it from a different perspective
Mhm.
each time in a way that works. So, for instance, I don't know if either of you've seen the movie Vantage Point,
I was just thinking that.
and I
I
hated
don't think
Vantage
I-
Point. I was like,
I
oh,
don't think I've seen
Yeah, I
it.
didn't like how they did that because,
Yeah.
but it, but this they pulled off to where you've got completely different stories,
Mhm,
all leading to the same thing. And
mhm.
I really like how, including the dad, including Charles's story, I think
Yes.
is really well done.
Yeah.
Uh,
Go ahead, Rich.
Michael Shannon. That's another person we haven't talked about was Michael Shannon in this.
Oh yeah.
He was pretty good too. He goes, I know what you did. Just give me some money to help me take care of my sister. I didn't know he was in this until I seen. Oh,
Yeah,
shit,
this is
that's Zod.
A fantastic cast in this movie.
Yeah,
This was like I know this is the same year as Man of Steel. I want to say it was just before. So, or it might have been just after, but either way, it's one of those where he hadn't quite become the Michael Shannon yet. So he
yeah.
probably worked on those two movies around the same time.
Yeah, it's a 5 years difference. Man of Steel was 2013.
Was it 2013? Why did I
Oh,
say
wow.
2007?
5 or
Wow.
6 years difference. But yeah, Michael Shannon wasn't Michael Shannon yet,
No, but
Right.
he was still good in this.
but
Yeah,
he's
he
a
was-
fantastic actor. So
he's always been good.
Yeah. I can't say if I'd have watched this before Man of Steel, I probably wouldn't have even recognized him in the movie. But now we
Yeah.
do, because we're
Yeah.
like, Michael Shannon's like up there as far as
Mhm.
Yeah.
like Take
From the pop
Shelter. I
culture.
thought he was brilliant in that, and of course Man of Steel. So that's a face that I recognize when he appears,
Yeah.
even though he had a small part. He was still really good.
It was an impactful part though.
Mhm.
And
And you see
he-
Ethan Hawke. He was slowly losing his shit,
yes.
and I like that.
Yeah, all the way through the movie.
Yeah,
And
it was 52 pickup with his brain through the whole movie, where it was like, and then okay, wait, I gotta figure out what.
Yeah.
Oh man, and then something else comes in and he falls apart, tries to pull
Yeah.
himself back together, and then he falls apart again, and then
Yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, you think, has got his shit together
And then he
Yeah.
fucking
in
loses
the
it.
movie, and he is like unraveling like you would not believe, but you would never see it on the surface.
Yeah.
Right. And I think the only thing he really had under control was his brother. He could make his brother do any damn thing he wanted to,
Mhm.
and including doing the robbery himself without me being there. I'm not gonna be there. I know we got clients in that area, and I don't want
Yeah.
They know
I
my
was
face,
like-
and we're
to.
not
Yeah,
gonna-
no, please.
really.
Yeah.
Something about
Yeah,
real
he had his-
estate and
Yeah,
Yeah, he had his brother on a yo-yo string. It was, I mean, he could do
Yeah.
whatever he wanted to, but everything else was just kind of falling apart. Even his marriage, because
And when she told him what he was doing,
oh
didn't-
yeah,
he didn't phase him. It didn't seem like at the beginning when she told him.
at first, yeah, but what they were saying though, you'll never see it on the surface.
Yeah.
So once she said it, I'm sure inside he was, all frazzled, but on the outside, he had this "I'm always gonna play it cool" kind of deal,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he just kind of said some slick shit and moved on, or seemed to move on until until a little
Yeah.
bit later.
I'm surprised his finger didn't get crazy like it did in the rest of these people when she told him that.
Yeah, yeah,
Because he had no problems doing what he did later on.
no, he completely lost it by the
Mhm.
end of this movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was that guy. He was just he was a psychopath. He just needed a reason to show it. That's
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And all the drugs didn't help, and then the problems on top of the drugs didn't help, the marriage, the audit, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And now the wall's closing in on him now with this whole robbery deal. And yeah, he just completely lost it. But yeah, he was really interesting. What did you think of the guy, the friend who helped him do the robbery, who
Oh,
we lose early on?
That was a huge mistake.
yeah.
But that was the whole problem. That was the whole thing that Ethan Hawke did wrong.
Yeah.
But I tell you, if even with his disguise, if he'd have walked in there,
Oh yeah,
she'd have known.
Yeah.
yeah,
But he wouldn't. He would have been like, "Oh hey," and then nothing would have happened. But
Right.
because he was like, I was too scared to do it alone. Had Tchaikovsky or whatever his name, have that guy do it.
yeah,
Because I remember him. He was one of the teachers from the TV series Magicians, where he was a Russian instructor in that series. So that's where the Russian name comes into my head. But he screwed up the whole thing.
He did.
Oh,
He was so
He screwed up the whole
dumb.
thing.
Yeah.
yeah. He was
You
a
fell
loose
for it.
cannon
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
at the beginning. And yeah, I'm with you though. That was the big mistake. It's like, dude, why would you go get that guy of all people?
Yeah, you're gonna recruit that dude to.
Well, Ethan Hawke didn't seem like the brightest person either, but
No, true.
Yeah.
He
and
was
he
not.
played that so well. He played that so well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
really
'cause-
dug that.
Yeah, because he was like Rich said, the whole movie. He was just desperately trying to hold it together, but failing. and
Yeah.
and by contrast, with his brothers seemed to have everything under control, but didn't. He
Yeah.
seemed to have nothing under control except his brother's wife, which is the craziest thing.
But I think the most heartbreaking thing for me, 'cause we're all fathers, we never want to let our children down, is when he's on the phone with his daughter. He's laying in bed. She's sitting at the dinner table, and she says that thing to him about, if you were just broke or whatever she said. That was
Yeah.
heartbreaking. You're like,
Yeah.
oh man.
Now I have to tell all my friends that you're a loser or something. And it
Yes,
was
that's
like,
what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you can't afford to do this. And he was like, but yeah, it was, with the ex-wife and all that, that was
the
hard.
hardest one.
Yeah. That was hard.
Yeah, and yeah, it's like you said, you never want to let your kids down. But at some point, at this point, when you're not going to be able to make this happen, dude, just let her down easy now. And so the daughter had a point. Yeah, the daughter had a point.
You should have said it from the get-go, but you still hear it. You don't ever want to hear that from your children.
Right.
It's just like, oh man.
Right. To me, and I also, we brought up the ex-wife. I thought that they did a good thing not giving us more of the ex-wife, because we really just needed to see her from his perspective, Ethan Hawke's perspective.
Yeah.
Yes.
We needed to see her as this, basically, the fence between him and his daughter. But we still understood where she was coming from. So it wasn't like she was just pure evil. We understood where she was coming from, but we still needed to kind of see her as an obstacle for him to work through. And
I thought that was done fantastically.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was
Yeah.
really really well done. All
Yeah.
right, and later on we get Dad trying to actually solve the crime, and
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
Dad was like a pit bull, man. He did not let it go.
No.
no,
Even though the dude died, he was like, nope. Why? I want to find out why.
yeah, and
Um,
especially when he finds out where the guy lived,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, what is he doing over here?" And
yeah.
I thought that pawn shop scene was amazing,
That
Yeah.
was
amazing.
that was a kicker for me when I saw him walk in there. I'm like, oh
Oh,
crap.
the
I,
card.
thought-
The
I
card.
I was like, and what started out as a love triangle between the two brothers and the wife became a death triangle between the two brothers and the dad.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah,
love the
And
way he stalked him.
yeah,
He just like stalked him. It was like, oh my goodness, with the gun. I was like, oh,
hmm
yeah,
I really, really liked that.
yeah. Dad, like you said, he was a pit bull. He was not. He
he
was
was
not
Do you
not
messing
blame
going to
him?
let
around.
it go. Even, I mean, I chuckled a little bit when he backed into the police car. I, I,
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, I'd be frustrated. Okay, I get it. Because he just went, boom, fine. And then he just drove off. I was like, yeah, because the police weren't listening to him. They weren't,
Mm-mm.
they weren't taking his calls anymore. They weren't, they weren't doing anything with him. And he was like, fine, I'm going to get one
Yeah,
last fu while I drive off. And I thought that was kind of funny. It
it
kind of
was.
cracked me up of, just a one little lash out, and
And
then
then
he
his
was gonna,
back of his car is barely damaged, and the police car was all
yeah,
messed up.
yeah.
yeah,
And I actually, I'm gonna thank you, Dave, for helping me out with that because when I watched it back, I was like, why are we doing this? And what is this here for? But thank you. So I that that helps me out because for me it was like, okay, I get he's frustrated, but you're just not gonna do that. Um, but yeah, now that you put it in those terms, I totally get it. Yeah.
yeah. I
Yep. Yep.
I I can't say I wouldn't have done it. I might, if I was his age and my wife was dead and the cops weren't doing anything. I might have done it. I might have
Mhm.
backed into their car. Oops, I'm sorry. I'm an old man. I don't know what I'm doing, and drove off. I'm, I can pretend to be senile for a second and I don't
Right.
know what I'm
Right.
doing, and then drive off. Um, it wouldn't have bothered me. I'd have been able to do that. But I saw the frustration, and he looked in the rear view in the side mirror, and he saw the car, and he's like, and I just saw the look on his face, like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and he just and drove. And I was like, perfect. I dug it. I'm here for this, old man. Do it.
And they made a point to show his trunk, the back end of his car. They're just
Yeah,
a little,
just
yeah.
a little wonky. The trunk wouldn't shut all the way,
Hmm.
or it's just
Yeah.
a little wonky. I was like, but he
Yeah,
plowed into that car. That's
yeah.
American made. It was a Chrysler or something. Like, oh man, that was
Yeah.
I liked it. I dug it. It was a little bit of like a stress release
Hmm.
for
Mhm.
him, I think, to where he was just so pent up with what was going on, and nobody was helping him, and he just lashed out. And yeah, I was here for it in the story. I liked it.
Yeah.
For anybody listening, the actor who played the dad was Albert Finney,
Yes.
and he's been
He
in
looks
tons and tons of
familiar.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at at least what is showing up in Letterbox for him, and there's a lot of stuff that I haven't seen. Let's see if I can pick something up here. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes' Smarter Brother from 1975. If you want to check that out. um,
Yeah, he did Aaron Brockovich. Was a more
yes, he
recent
did that.
one. Murder on the Orient Express. He was actually the original Hercule Poirot from 1974.
He was
Um,
also in Annie from 1982.
yeah.
He was in
Wasn't
that
he
one,
Daddy
one of my
Warbucks?
loves. Was he Daddy Warbucks? I'm not sure if he was Daddy Warbucks. Yes, he was Daddy Warbucks.
I think it
Okay,
was Daddy
that's maybe.
Warbucks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
what I
And
recognize
he
him
was
from.
Ebenezer Scrooge in 1970
Yeah.
for one of the original Scrooge movies.
Yeah. So
Um,
he's been around.
yeah, he's long time. Not again, never won an Oscar, but he's nominated 5 times for an Oscar.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But
I
Albert
didn't think-
Finney, he's so good in this.
Yeah,
is.
he's really
You
good.
you felt his pain and his frustration, like when he
did-
slapped his daughter's hand when she was cutting his meat, and he just
Yeah.
slapped her hand. I was like, you could tell that he was just so upset. He didn't know what to do.
Mhm.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
like the way his body language changed again in this. From the beginning, the sad, and then there's just his whole like posture like kind of changed when he was stalking
Yeah.
his sons.
He was definitely a man on a mission, and everything about him just said that. Like you said, his body
Mhm.
posture, the look on his face. You see the determination on his face, and then later on when we get in that pawn shop, the shock when it all dawns on him, and he added a lot to the movie.
Yeah.
He definitely did.
Yeah, he did. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about as far as this movie goes?
I loved it. That's plain and simple. I'm glad you picked this movie because I want to add this to my collection.
Yeah, this was really good.
Mhm.
I agree with Rich. I really enjoyed this. Like I said, this is something I wanted to watch in the beginning, and then after Philip Seymour Hoffman died, I was like, yeah, he died of a heroin overdose, and he does heroin in this movie. I don't think I want to see it. But I'm glad you picked it, Del. I'm glad it was in there for us, and I'm happy to watch it, and I would have it in my collection for sure.
Yeah. And if you're in
Mm-hmm.
the chat, do yourself a favor, watch it. I mean,
Yeah, this is absolutely worth a watch.
Yeah.
I would put it absolutely on par with Murder in the First as far as how heart-wrenching it is and how and the sadness in it and the intensity. And I think it's directed better than Murder in the First. I love how the director
yeah.
did this. Sidney
Yeah.
Lumet did an amazing job here. And I don't know why this wasn't nominated for anything.
I don't
was good.
either. That's a good question.
Even cinematography, it should have been at least something.
You would think, because there were some really, really good shots. The way the movie was shot overall
Mhm.
was really good. But yes, the directing was fantastic. The performances were
was.
great, and even down to the guy that was that Philip Seymour Hoffman was getting his drugs from. I even thought he was great because
Yeah.
he would try to talk to him, and he'd be like, he had one great line. He says, "Get a wife or get a therapist." And he said,
And he goes, "I have a wife. We'll get a therapist."
Get a therapist.
Yeah.
or is like he was like, he said something like, "My wife left me," or "My wife's cheating on me," and he's like, "You don't have an appointment. Get out."
Yeah.
Like next time, get an appointment. I don't care.
I don't care.
It's like you're here to do drugs and go. I'm not here to be your listening post.
Yep.
Right.
But
yeah.
But what happens in there,
Mhm.
and that one I'm not going to spoil.
Mhm.
Watch that, because that's where you really see the psychopath in Philip Seymour Hoffman come out.
And Ethan Hawke's reaction.
Yeah.
His face. You're like,
Oh yeah.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Ethan Hawke was like a complete mess through the entire movie, but at least he had a morality to him.
Yes, he definitely did.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman's character looked like he had it together, but no morality. An absolute sociopath, didn't care about anyone's feelings. That was a striking contrast that really worked between the brothers.
Yeah.
I agree.
Definitely would agree. All right, so I'll take it as a win, and it sounds like we got 3 wins tonight.
Yeah,
That's awesome. I was really worried about my pick because it was so different than what you guys went with.
I was worried about your pick too, Rich. I was like, man, another romantic comedy.
I do like them. I do.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, it was fun.
Yeah.
It's
I had
a good palate cleanser between 2 really hard movies.
That is true.
Yes.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Because the other 2 were kind of tough to watch for sure.
Yeah.
All right. We can get ready to put it to bed, guys. I'm gonna let you guys go one at a time this time. You can tell everybody about yourself or what you have coming up or anything you want to tell us. And starting with Mr. Rich.
Well, you can find me over on Instagram at TurnerFan77, where I just post what I watch and then promote our channel, the Faces for Radio podcast YouTube station. I'm the least funny one, and David right here, he's the funny one of the show. So, Dave, you tell us about Faces for Radio.
I'm the funny looking one on the show. But yeah, the Faces for Radio podcast airs Wednesday nights normally at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, where we take new releases and we watch them, we review them, we let you know our thoughts. We also have Movie News at 5, which airs on Fridays normally. This week, however, we're going to do a live episode of Faces for Radio with Dell, and then following that, we will do a live show of Movie News at 5 to just see if we can have somebody on live and do some talks and stuff as we do our movie news. So that'll be a lot of fun. As far as for me, I have the 4K Lowdown channel. And on there, I do unboxings and town hall meetings and stuff like that. Coming up, I have my birthday haul, which my birthday was the end of last month. I finally got my Vinegar Syndrome order, so I'll be unboxing that and doing some more unboxings and things like that. So that's coming up in the next week or so.
Cool. I'm gonna talk about Rich's Instagram for just a second. Guys, if you want to follow somebody, Rich watches like 18 movies a day. I don't know how he does it.
He mainlines it. He mainlines movies. It's just like I'm like,
man.
what do you do? I mean, I watch a lot of movies, but
Right.
Rich takes the
I'm a night
taco.
owl.
I
I'll
have
put myself
insomnia.
alive.
I don't watch as many movies as he does.
But you watch TV shows. I don't watch.
I watch TV shows. So
Yeah,
I get the TV shows in too. So, I mean, if you
Yeah.
put that together, then we probably watch the same amount.
Most days, I probably, when my kid goes to bed, I watch maybe 3 movies a day, if that. 3, 4, 5, 6,
5,
7.
7,
Yeah.
12.
I do. I think
On his
I'm at
day off, man,
200.
it's like,
Like if it's on a weekend and I don't have my son or got any plans going on, and it's just me, I'll probably do like 5, 6 movies because it's just me.
yeah, I have to text him to take a bathroom break, dude. You need to get up out of your chair. You've watched
Yeah.
like 4 movies in
Get
a row,
bed
and I don't think
sores
you've
enough.
moved.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
That's my hobby.
Speaking of pit bulls, Rich is a pit bull when it comes to movies.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know how he does it. It's amazing.
You watched about 800 movies last year or something like that.
Something like that.
Something. Yeah, 7 something.
yeah.
Yeah, it was really close to 800, like 756 or something like that.
Something like, I'm trying to go through my movie collection and watch every movie I have in alphabetical order. And I started last year in 2023, January 1st, and I'm only on my Fs so far. That's it. Because I just watched those movies and the movies for the show that we pick. And I really don't seek out other movies. I just watch what I need to watch, if that makes sense.
I just watch what we do for the show. That's all I have time
for.
Right. And then I have to watch my series and stuff like that.
All right.
It's crazy, but yeah, I'll watch maybe half of what he does.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm watching about half. I do watch some TV. And that's for my wife and I. Those are things that we watch together, or TV series.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get in a good amount of those. But yeah, I'm probably about half, less than half most years for Rich of what Rich is watching. So
I'm only at 298 right now. That's it.
Wow. And I am 120 something movies behind you at this point, and I've watched a lot compared to most people.
I love Letterboxd. It's a really great way to track what you.
I think I'm about 150 right now. I'm about 150 or so.
I'm about 170.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm
just
hoping to get through my.
I haven't even put everything in Letterboxd that I've done, because I have trouble keeping up with that. But I write full on reviews.
Yeah, I don't.
Of them. Rich just goes in star, and then
Yeah.
move on.
Right,
That's
right.
all he has time for because he's too busy watching more
I'm
movies.
not good with words, as you guys could tell. It's just, hey, I can
I,
do
I
this.
I used to blog. I used to have a blog where I wrote a lot of full blown reviews, and I just haven't really done that since. Since really coming to YouTube, it's like, if
Yeah.
I got something to say about a movie, I'll
Same
do it.
here. I've had trouble
Right.
keeping up with Rich, so I'm having trouble. I got to write them too. I'm like, no, I don't have time for that. I gotta try to watch as many movies as Rich, and that just
Oh, that's
yeah.
funny.
All right,
Yeah.
we got a few more comments before we get out of here. Jeff's movie news live, nice.
Yeah, we're gonna try
Nice.
it first
Yeah,
time
check it out,
live.
Jeff.
Yeah, he says he watches TV and play video games, and it's hard to just squeeze a movie a day in.
I don't have time. I don't have time
Yeah,
for
I
video games. It's
I
just-
Yeah,
actually gave my Xbox to my daughter. I don't
I
even.
I haven't been a
I-
gamer in so long. It's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah,
And nothing wrong with gaming. It's just
No.
it's
Yeah,
not where my
I-
interests lie
It's
anymore.
Diablo 4 is all I play, and that's when my sons are like, "Hey, Dad, you want to play?" And I'll jump on, and then I let the monsters kill me while they collect all the gold. So
There you go.
that's pretty much the extent of my video gaming.
There you go. Jeff is at 160 for the year, so he's right
Yeah.
between
That's a
the
good
two.
He's
number,
right with
man.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, right there with us.
Yeah.
Floyd House Flicks.
What's up,
Hey,
Floyd?
What's going on?
this is the wife and I are about to watch The Boys, but I wanted to check in first. Thank you for checking in. It's a great talk. That is a series that my wife and I will be watching. Is The Boys.
Yeah. I watched The Boys too. Good show.
Yep. It is good. I'm glad this new season has started.
We're at the 2-hour mark. That means his headphones have cut out, so he's got to switch.
All right. Well, I'm gonna shut it down here anyway. So we're cool. And is that the feedback that I'm getting is from him?
Yeah, it's from him.
Okay, got it.
That's better.
But yeah, I'm gonna shut it down right here anyway. I'm just gonna say that for me, Saturday night is the big night. I'm gonna be hanging out with my guys again, but this time over on Faces for Radio on that channel. And we've got 6 movies to watch. We had 5, and I foolishly suggested, hey, let's add another one. But I'm gonna go ahead and watch it tomorrow, so I'll be ready to roll for Saturday night. Speaking of tomorrow, though, I do have a pretty big video. Rich might be interested in this video. Right behind me, this shelf is full of superhero and comic book movies. I'm going through the entire thing. I have video going through that will go live tomorrow morning. So be on the lookout for that if you are a superhero movie fan. And thanks again to everybody in the chat. Subscribe to each other, all the great content creators that are in the chat, or if you're just watching the replay and you can let the live chat come up while you're watching the replay. Look at those names. Those are some great content creators. Of course, subscribe to Faces for Radio, Turner Fan 77. And if you like me, why not? So that's all I got, guys. We will catch you on the next one. Oh, one more thing. I'm sorry. It was just confirmed just before the show. I will have Movie Swap on next Thursday. My guest will be Mega Mike the Movie Man. So we're going to have a good time. All right. That's all I got, everybody. Bye-bye, guys.